What up? What up? What up? You're live with the Hallcast. Man, we got a very, very special show today. We got a guest, and this guest is a very important guest, man. He's I'm gonna call him a good friend because he's definitely a good friend now. I've been following him for a while now, and I finally got to meet Detroit. Randy Detroit Howard. What up, Mr. Bolo? So yeah, we got Mr. Randy Hayward, excuse me, on the show coming on. So we'll give him some time to jump in. And we got an interview with the legend Randy Detroit Hayward. Let's see. Sorry about that, y'all. All right. Let's see. See where my guest is at. How y'all doing out there today, man? How was that weekend? How did the weekend treat everybody, man? This was an exciting weekend, man. The weekend was very dope. Man, a lot of miraculous good things happened over the weekend, man. They had the little Arizona situation where everybody was afraid to go, but now things are all put together because gentlemen came to the table like real men and settled differences. And now we back on. We live in Arizona. We're going to have a lot of fun in Arizona. Man, I cannot wait for Arizona, man. Working on this bike. Man, this bike is coming along, man. Everybody hitting me up. They like, man, what's up with the bike? Is you going to make it? Is you going to make it? Yeah, it look like I'm going to make it, man. So working on this bike every day, putting in the work, turning these wrenches and see what it do. You know what I'm saying? What up, Buddha up there in Chicago. Yeah, so we got a guest coming on. Let me see where he at. And when I checked him out, man, he got a lot of good things going on. Let's see. How does this work? Yeah, so he said he just logged in. We're going to go to a quick break. Y'all hold on. Give me 1 second. We're going to go to a quick break really fast. Oh, look, here he is. Here he is.
Bye, y'all. Y'all cats with all this technology. Boy, listen, I teach you how to ride a taxi if you teach me how to do all this technology. What up, dude?
Hey, man, look, I'm going to teach you how to work this technology. You teach me how to ride that old school and shift that gear with the left hand, man.
Done deal. I tell everybody this. See, rider, if you ride, you give me 30 minutes. I have you ride a tank shift and all of that. So yeah, man, let's get it.
Right. Yeah, man. So introduce yourself to everyone, man.
Well, as I often say, if my mama was here, it'd be Randy. She ain't here. She going on to glory. So they call me Detroit. Detroit Randy Works. I play with these old sleds, Detroit antique motorcycles. I do the damn show, Mama, I'm not cursing. That stands for Detroit Antique Motorcycle Show. And we're the only show in the world, not the country, in the world that give you a class ring for showing up. We don't do judging the points and all that. If you give me your time, you're going to join my damn family. So that's me. I just play with these old sleds, get down for the get down.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to join the damn family, man. I see you recently did. I see you recently did a show in Daytona, man. Daytona Bike Week, man. How did that go?
Man, listen, bro. I did shows. Detroit's the home base, and we pick a city. Wife and I a few years ago decided we would do like Prince. Yep, Prince Roger Nelson. He used to do concerts, and he would double back and do what was called hit and miss shows. Most people didn't know this. Prince would come back to a venue and do a small concert. So the wife and I said, how do we take our show and spread it around the world? So we started saying we're going to do hit and miss shows. We would pick a city, and go to the city. So we've done, we've been to Milwaukee. We've done Florida, Daytona before. We've done a few cities around. We've been to Italy. So the last 2 years we've picked Daytona, and we showed up to Bethune-Cookman, the set. And Liz, last year was on point. I think I had sensory overload. I had been to the set before, but never really like in March. I usually go when I race down there in October. And man, this past bike week, they had me out there feeling like a rock star. I didn't get paid like one, but I felt like one.
Hey man, I was watching from afar, man, via YouTube and Facebook, man, and I must say you was looking like a rock star, man. You was looking like a hog star, man. Your Harley star.
Man, listen.
Yeah.
We and you know, you and I have talked before. Don't ever want to do any of this without giving history, right?
Right.
So even during this past rally, and there was a bunch of folks. The music was right, the food was right, the vibe was right, the set was lit. MC was on the set, RC was on the set, SC was on the set, Individuals was on the set, and Harley was on the set. And people was like, this what it's like. And I knew this was the opportunity also to talk about why Bethune is even lit. So Daytona's been going for 84 years. And back in the 60s and 70s, folks that looked like you and me wasn't always welcome over on International Boulevard.
Right.
Where the bike week was happening. So as we do with a lot of stuff, you got to make your own. And so Bethune-Cookman became the spot, and it was jumping, it was right. And it was the thing, you know, my wife and I always promote a love of the sport. Man, it was so many different folks there. We was loving on each other. And then I did a vintage bike parade and was like, who's that OG? And I, you know, Bethune was, if y'all ain't been to Bethune, let me tell y'all cats on the West Coast. But before I start tripping, because the West Coast be knowing how to do it, right?
Right.
But coming to the East Coast, you know, y'all, you know, show some love over here. Don't be like that. Bring some of that sunshine. Show some love.
Yeah, man. Hey, you know what? I started following you, man. It's been about a year, and I'll just be checking you out with these antique bikes, man. And some of them bikes just look like they even too old to even run. You know what I mean? And you be working them old. I've been seeing you racing them. I'm like, so that's something. How did you get into one of racing vintage motorcycles?
Man, that's crazy you say that, right? I'm sitting here rubbing my knee that's hurting. We barely running, the bike's running. I grew up in Detroit, and if you are from Detroit and you don't play with mechanical stuff, you're not really from Detroit. You know, I'm gonna give you a tip, right? If you ever run to somebody and they say I'm from Detroit, and they don't say what side of town, what high school, or they don't use the phrase "what up, though," they ain't from Detroit.
Right. Dirty glove.
So they say, what up, though? You know, I was with somebody and they said, man, I'm from Detroit. I said, what up, though? What high school? They said, well, I was in such and such. It was like 5 miles from Detroit. Stop it. You know, but I grew up in Detroit, man. And everybody wanted cars, hot rods. And then I grew up in an area called Delray. And I moved when I was about 9 or 10 to the west side. And George Jefferson and Wheezy moving on up to a deluxe apartment in the sky, right? And so it was different. And people had mini bikes and go-karts, and I wanted to be like that. And we would sneak off to the suburbs, and I've told this story 1,000 times, to see these 125 dirt bikes, right? Never got one. But it was a family down the street that would race bikes, the miles. And they would go around the corner on this long block, and that's where they would test and tune in the hood. And they were fast. So, we were always like, that's going to be us. And then I got in a hot rod, Sea Rider heavy. I mean, I still got about 5 hot rods. I got into a heavy, and so, but I wanted to be like them guys, and I never lost the love of the bikes. But I got off into the cars for a minute. Then I started buying stuff you can't buy when you was young. Now you got a little paper. So I was buying the mini bikes and go-karts, and that led to collecting vintage bikes. And started collecting and had a deal on the bike that was called the Bugatti of motorcycles, a 1925 Henderson 4-cylinder. These bikes were rare in their day and they're rare now. So here this black cat buying a 1925 Henderson, right? And the guy that sold it to me was like, you know, you can come to my house and pick it up. So I'm thinking it's a setup. You know, I'm sorry, when you're from the hood, everything you got,
Yeah, you gotta be careful, man. You gotta be careful.
If I see you walking up and I go to tuck in my chain, don't get mad at me. I know how we move some days. And so I go see my man and I start peeping out all the stuff he had. And he said, how long you been collecting? I told him about 10, 15 years. And after I gave him money, he said, why don't you stay here? So I went back out to the car and told my wife, I think they about to get me. I mean, I was in the sticks in New England. But I wanted to see what he had. You know how we move. And we became friends. And he saw that I loved it. He said, man, why don't you race? I said, man, you crazy. I don't even ride this stuff. All I was doing was collecting.
Right.
On the trailer, off the trailer, into a show, clean it up, stand there, whatever.
In the living room.
look, hold on. Look, don't play with me now. Listen,
look.
The wife in California, though, she is present when we speak, so don't tell her. So he said, why don't you race? I said, no. But I went online and peeped out this race. And bruh, I was gone. It was like, I'm doing that. So I took one of my bikes, put oil in it. I had been showing this bike, no oil, nothing. 1926.
Wow.
Took it to this guy. I said, man, I didn't know how to get the thing running. Got it running. And said, show me how to ride it. He said, nope, you're going to hurt yourself. You're not riding this on my block. I said, come on, man. I'm paid you all this money. He got me too, because I ain't know. He got me, right? Yeah. And he said, no, you got to take it away from here. So he wrote down what I need to do. I loaded it on the trailer, went and picked up my wife and girls, and we rode to New Jersey that night to a race on the beach.
Wow.
Wildwood, New Jersey. Most people don't know. All racing in America started on the beach. All racing started in Ormond Beach, then the Salt Flats. But yeah, I took it. Got on the beach. Got to the hotel. I ain't even know how to get it to the racetrack, and it kept cutting off. People were like, "You okay?" I was like, "Yeah, it's the carburetor, homeboy. I'm good." I didn't know what I was doing, but I've been in it ever since. And I probably was. I was the only black cat in the country racing pre-1930 motorcycles anywhere.
Yeah, I ain't never seen them before. That's what attracted me to you, because when I was checking your page out and I looked, I said, I ain't never saw this before. And then it was like, he was like the only black with all the white folk. I said, something's interesting about this dude. He following me out.
Well, that's what be tripping me out, right? Because my family, some cats who be seeing me online, be like, look at him. You know, what he doing? And if people knew me or know me, I have a traveling Black History Museum. I'm little Malcolm X, right?
Yeah.
But I entered a sport where we're just not represented. And don't get me wrong. If you look at my Instagram, I'm always promoting positivity, right down to watching what kind of music I curate and all that online. Because I don't think folks should have access all the time behind the curtain. And that includes music, right?
No, for sure.
You know, so I'm very cautious there as well. But I also knew that and know that motorcycling saved a lot of people's lives. And so I'm like Erykah Badu, right? When
Yeah.
she did the song Ode to Hip Hop. This is my love song. This is my love letter to motorcycling. Man, we could be doing a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But and so when you see me, it's crazy. It'll be
Mm-hmm.
me, I'll be the only one out there. And people be like, he don't even mess with us, bro. I'm in the MC. What you talking about? I'm in one of the largest
Hey, you know what was crazy?
clubs in the world. Come on, don't tell him, C. Ryder. Tell him don't get me like that all the time.
Man, oh, hey, you know what? I'm the unqualified hallcaster, right? Because I'm still learning how to work this podcast thing. So we got a fellow Detroit 313 in the house. My homegirl Toya brought it. She say this should be good. Detroit automatically makes it great. Okay, I hear you. She said,
Toya, be careful now. I'm married. Who are you? Don't be no. I'm just waiting.
She said West Side Martin DePorres.
Oh, see, now she know. What up, though? West Side, Greenfield, West Chicago, split by a few blocks between Cody and McKenzie, and I had to go to the Mac. I am a stag all day, every day.
Yeah. Man, that's big. Yeah, she said, has the museum ever been to Ferris State?
No, and here's how the museum works. Is actually a traveling Black History museum. So we took some artifacts to Florida. I've taken artifacts to Italy. The people reach out and we bring the museum to you. It hasn't been the Ferris State. And I'll be honest, Toya, my wife says it best. If you put as much time in the museum as you put into motorcycling, you would be doing some things. But it's just like love. You only can love somebody, one person real heavy. And so right now I'm loving those motorcycles. But no, I'll take the museum anywhere because we have so much history. Here's what's crazy, right? See, right now I spoke a little earlier about what time we're going on, blah, blah, blah. I set this up a while back. Here we are. But 30 minutes ago, I'm on the phone with a gentleman who's the grandson of the first African-American motorcycle dealer in the country. Started in the 20s. He doesn't ride. I am going to interview him. They've donated some of the artifacts to a historical society. And I think those are artifacts we need because we bring them to you all. And so, right. And that's what people saw in Bethune as well. We set up some signed stuff, some rare signed stuff. I got a signed check from William Johnson, the first Black African-American dealer. I got some Sugar Bear stuff. There's a picture of one of the influencers, Tiffany Renee.
Yeah, she in the comments right now.
What? Oh, come on, Tiff! Don't make this OG cry. And so what's crazy? There was a picture I saw of her on the track, and she had that bike tilt, cutting around the track.
Yeah, in Vegas, I saw that.
Yeah, man, and I'm trying to be black, trying to just get a bootleg copy. It was all grainy. So I got to go to the right people. But when you have folks like Tiffany Renee, Fast Eddie, making sure that what we're standing on is connected to history, it's important. It's so important. And so, they had a few of us out there, Traveling Tall, Tiffany Renee, GQ, myself. But here's what's crazy. That's not even the tip of the iceberg of cats who are doing it. But we're doing it with love. Tiffany says something, you know how you be trying to be acting like you know people. I'd be like, Tiff, what up? Okay, I'll be Tiffany Renee. Tiff said we was at a luncheon, a breakfast, excuse me, with Chantel. And Chantel has Shut Up and Ride is a program. 48 states. Shut Up
and Ride, yeah.
You can ride 48 states in 23 days. So we're there and we're speaking. And Tiffany Renee said something so important. She said, it's about support. No matter at what level you are.
Right.
You think, my kids, my daughters, they ain't listening to me about no bikes, and nor is my granddaughters. But if they probably look at Tiffany Renee, be like, Dad, I want to be like her. I'll be like, y'all be quiet. Get out this house. No, I want them to be inspired like that. But here's what we do, especially when it comes to history. We make the mistake of trying to critique people where they are. And I've heard it. I mean, I know what they're saying about me.
And I'm guilty of it myself.
And if we don't own that, I remember folks saying, does this person ride? Do they do long distance? Detroit put his stuff on the trailer. Bro, I put my stuff on the trailer in a minute. I'll ride in a minute. I rode across country last year and wanted to turn in my cut.
That's garbage bags for the rain suit.
Who does this? That was my first cross country, but I used to look at those people with such admiration, and I got it. After I crossed that 500, 800 mile mark, I was like, man, this is freedom. So then, like you said, the garbage bag, we stopped in New Orleans. It started raining. I ain't had no rain suit. I'm old school. I don't have no headset. I ain't wearing no rain suit. I ain't wearing no heated suit. All that has changed. Once I got older, I'm getting all of that stuff. But then I ain't have a Sea Rider, so I said, I'll get a rain suit. And I walked across the street. They said, where you going? I said, the dollar store. I said, for what? I'm going to get a rain suit. They don't sell rain suit. Watch. I came back with some garbage bags and duct tape. Bruh, I wish I had a picture. I put that stuff on. I rode. I only made it 20 minutes because I had jet lag. I just came back from Italy. And so I lost about 5 pounds because I about sweated myself and suffocated.
I was about to say, you had to be sweating in them garbage bags, man, because I thought that was like the official tool to lose weight.
Listen, I stayed dry and lost weight. But what was the best thing was the brother Hero. You introduced me to him.
Oh yeah, Hero, man, good dude, man.
Hero is on that famous picture of the Chosen Few. Did I get that right? That's Chosen Few, right?
Yeah, Chosen Few, Mother Chapter.
Yeah, but it was a famous picture of them cats in front of a restaurant, and Hero's on the ground giving the biker salute.
Come on, man.
I'm giving the biker salute, and he commented when someone put it on Facebook. They said, man, that's how we did that. OG doing it right. So I was like, I turned into a 12-year-old. I was giddy. Like, man, he gave me a shout out. And then you introduced me to him a couple of weeks ago, bruh. Yeah. I still ain't come down yet.
Yeah, good dude, man. I talk to him just about every day, man. He give me so much knowledge. I be like, man, I gotta get you on the show. He like, man, I ain't no podcaster. I said, you know what, Hero, you a poster. You posted. He said, yeah. So he named me the unofficial podcaster. So I'm fit to change my name from the unqualified hogcaster to the unofficial hogcaster.
Listen, you better tell. Look, hold on now. My Detroit people showing up. Ray Heard, what up, dude?
Oh yeah, man. They dropping in, man. You know it's crazy. My first time on the road, I think I was about a good, I don't know, I want to say about a good 800 miles in. And I'm riding. I said, what the am I doing? What am I doing? Are you serious? I'm like, man, I'm like 800 miles. I'm looking at everybody. I say, yeah, it's kind of too far to turn around and go home. I said, let's just see what this thing do, man. And man, I've been loving it ever since. Now I'll be going out by myself. I don't even tell them. I just go, boom, hit me a couple states, man.
That's it right there. We got to get to a place where we just honest with ourselves and the culture will benefit. When we're honest with ourselves, the culture will benefit, right?
That's heavy.
And this how we get hurt. I could do this. I when I started emceeing about 12 years ago, around with these cats, LB the Great.
Yeah.
He can race. He out of Detroit, Brother Tat, and they were doing hole shots. And I came in the MC game late. So I said, y'all gotta show me how to do a whole shot. They said, OG, you too old for that. You're gonna kill yourself. I said, come on, man. Let's see. Here's the problem. We get out here and we don't respect the culture, and then we get young people jammed up. We don't tell them how we earned it. We don't tell them how we got here. And we got to get them there faster than it took us. We shouldn't say it took me 20, it's going to take you 20. No, but we got to be honest with them. When we start talking about long distance riding, everybody can be built for that, but they don't start off built for that. You know, and don't get me wrong, when you MC, you have to ride. So if anybody that want to join MC, if you don't ride, please, as DT Nephew says, you know, commit or quit, right? And so somebody just put Cody High School. Boy, Cody High School.
Cody High School.
Listen, whoever put Cody High School, they used to have a figure 8 drivers training in behind the school. And you go in the summer, and I went to Cody to learn. And my brother and I was in the same class, and we was hood. So we started racing the drivers training cars and got kicked out. But that's a story for another day. Yeah.
You know? Hey, I see you got a lot of Detroit support up in here, man. I got my guy Hindu. You know what I mean?
Man, listen,
that's my partner, man. And you got Mr. Hero himself up in here, man. He say, what's Detroit? Yeah, man. You getting man, you definitely
don't have me on here crying. I'm at the age now where I'm not scared to cry. When you got cats, so let me give Hindu a shout out. Hindu painted a quick turnaround on the bike I was building for Harley Davidson. So big shout out to Hindu. When you got cats like Hero, they've been so here's our problem as young bloods. I can say that.
Yeah.
We don't give credit to these cats who paved the way. We think we're going through something now when we show up and people looking at the big wheel bikes and frowning at us and all that. These cats was the ones teaching us how to sleep on the side of the road with the chain around your ankle next to your bike because you knew somebody's going to try to get you for your bike or not let you stay somewhere, right?
Right.
When we don't respect and we don't look at these pictures with homage, we're doing a service to the culture. And we should all be making each other legends. We should. I mean, I'm out here tank shifting, foot clutching, a motorcycle with no brakes, right? I be thinking I'm flying too. I be doing like 50 miles an hour. You can't tell me I ain't doing that.
It's fast, foot clutching and tank shifting, man. That's fast.
Listen, here's the thing though, right? So racing started on the beach. All racing started at Ormond Beach. It moved from the beach to flat track, and then in the early 1900s, they did this thing called board track, made out of wood. Next time you pick up a Coca-Cola, the guy who owned Coca-Cola was big with promoting flat board track. Board track was huge in California, one of the biggest tracks ever, made by a guy named Prince. So they bring us to Atlanta. In Atlanta, you got board track racing. Downtown Atlanta is no coliseum as big as board tracks were back in the day. But what you didn't know was the Federation of American Motorcyclists forbid, what up, Smoke? My man, Red Breed, them birds in the house. You were forbid from racing if you were black. And so the newspaper said these outlaw racers are not allowed. So I do outlaw racing now. I'm not under Armour. I'm not under AMA. I do this out of honor of those black cats out of Atlanta. It doesn't mean we don't have rules. We just don't have a governing body. And what I tell people, especially when I speak to MCs, the first outlaws to motorcycling was the black cats out of Atlanta. They weren't defined by 1%. 1% term didn't come into the 40s with the incident in Hollister, right?
Right.
AMA put a letter out that said only 1% of bikers act like this, and that's where that moniker came on. But
a lot of people don't know that.
They don't know that. The first outlaws to motorcycling were black riders. And to this day, by that definition, we're still doing outlaw stuff, big wheel bikes. Now it's the thing. 10 years ago, you got talked about if you rode a big wheel bike. right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The music. Now you can't. You can go into a dealership and come out with a sound system. You think about how many mom and pops businesses got killed from the car industry because they started putting 20s on. I know y'all don't do that now. It's 25. I just show my age.
I think they had 30s.
Don't be like Day. I keep them clean though.
Man.
But
No,
you
right, man. A lot of
history
businesses have been killed. Yes.
Yeah, and we have to. And here's what's important with you, right? The African culture, not African American culture. The African culture in passing history was an oral culture, or through the works that was made. We call it art today. It was by necessity, and you modern day, and those orators, those griots, you all are the modern day griots today. You're the ones making sure that the story gets told. But here's what's crazy. We all are supposed to be griots, right? I mean, this right here, the bikes in my living room, that ain't new. Just people ain't talking about it. And, I got a wife. I'm still kind of half hood, and it's still true. The way you get them is the way you keep them. And we met in high school, and she made me believe she was in the hot rod. She not. And so, and so that's why I get to put some bikes in my living room, But
man, I want to put a bike in my living room so bad.
Do it. Listen, watch. I'm gonna get you in trouble. Be the man. Don't do that.
Right on, man. Hero say, man, you gotta build that bike in the kitchen. I say, yeah, I'm gonna pull it in the kitchen one day when she ain't there and be like, yeah, Hero, look, it's in the kitchen, and pull it out the kitchen.
The most righteous cat is a cat who understands that he runs his house because his wife, his girlfriend, his partner has taken a position. Do you know the most powerful position in the world? Everybody think it's leadership. It's not. It is the second position. You know why? Because it's a chosen position.
Yes. You know what? Position. No, you're right. Not to cut you off, but I've been having this argument with a lot of guys that, some of my partners, they are presidents of clubs, right? And I tell them that the duties that you are partaking is not your job. It's the vice president's job. I said the vice president is the one who runs the club. You have to let the vice president do his thing. And
hold on. Before DT nephew come after us, DT, I'm gonna say it. The bylaws run the club.
Right.
You are right. The VP has to move like a lieutenant or an unsanctioned sergeant at arms. The president has to be shaking hands and kissing babies, the politician.
Right.
You ever have your leadership taken out? I'm in a club, we don't claim territory or property. We're not outlaws, right? But as a VP, I'm the one that has to get up and talk about the constitutional rules, and I barely get voted in because I'm the one having to enforce that. Now imagine that in the household. Imagine if you understood. First of all, I can't do none of this without my wife. Let me be real clear.
Same here.
I got to be in Houston. Hope get a chance to shake hands with Hero. I got to be in Houston for a funeral Friday, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting around here working on the bike today, and my wife called and say, "Did you do this to your suit? Did you do that? Did you do this?"
Me.
And then she was like, "And are you going to the barber?" I would take my hair off, but it looked like I just got out from a 10-year stint. So
Hey, me too, man. That's why I put my hat on. I'm looking like George Jefferson right now. I don't have time.
Right here, But we have a responsibility to live this, and we have a responsibility to tell a story. We say this: collect history, share history, and make history.
Yeah.
I mean, and it tripped me out when I say to cats, "Hey man, tell me some of the most famous Black motorcycle pictures." And they're like, I'm like, man, you gotta know about the one with chosen feet. You gotta know about the East Bay Dragon. But you know what they're saying? We're losing the Black club every week, and nobody is writing this history down, right? Nobody writing the history. Nobody talking about the history, man.
I just told my buddy, I said, man, we got to go interview Mr. Chop, man. Last time I told my buddy that we need to go interview OG Heavy from the Soul Brothers. On, and then when I talked to my partner T-Cone, I'm like, hey, man, you think you can make that happen? He like, let me see what I can do. T-Cone, he plugged it. He said, man, we can make it happen, man. We can make it happen. And lo and behold, like a week later, week and a half later, Heavy passed away. I said I was upset with myself because I didn't go to get the knowledge from him. And I'm sure he has a lot of recordings, but just haven't seen many of them. But I wanted to just get the history because I feel like that if the younger generation that's coming up in this set, and they're getting younger, now you see young guys that's like 18, 16 years old. There's one kid, he's 16, and they're getting younger. But if they don't know where we came from and don't know the history and don't know why the Black Bike Set was formed, they won't know where to take it. You know what I mean?
You preaching. I'm about to be like Marvin Sapp. Close the door. We about to collect some money. No, I'm just joking.
But they're not gonna know where to take it, man. And and I don't want to see that get lost and transition of the new world, because everybody like, all these older rules that can't apply nowadays on the bike set because that was then, this is now. But what was placed then and what was sanctioned then in the old world must continue to be in the new world, because the things that were placed were things of morals and standards. And one thing about morals and standards, it never changes. No matter what the world changes.
You can't. Here's the thing. I remember coming in the game, and the guy saying, "You going to the roundup?" And I said, "What's the roundup?" He said, "Don't you ever say that again." Then I realized we're not teaching. So quick knowledge for people listening, if you've never been and never heard, the Roundup is the largest gathering of Black MCs in the world.
Man.
In the world. There is it could be in a Guinness Book of Record as one of the largest camping events of its type. And you don't even have to MC. You can be social, you can be riding, you could be a civilian. But to see all of that history, all of these clubs, right, in one place. So you got to go to Roundup. The thing I went to this year for the first time was the prop. And I was sitting choked up like, man, this out here, this professional motorcycle conference.
Man.
What drove it home, and here's the thing, and I'm at that age now, that's not true. I've been like this. Why we killing each other, right? And here's the trick. If I give you this knowledge and you give it to 10 more people, it's exponential, right? And we go, man, we this powerful. And so all of a sudden, we realize we have a unity. I remember one of my guys, man, he said, man, what you think about them guys calling bikers for Trump? I said, they ain't bikers. He said, why? How could you say that? I said, let me tell you why. I ain't even talking politics. Motorcycling has always been a fringe culture. Always. MC is even more on the outs, and racing is even more on the outs. So when you start a line and talking about I'm standing for this guy and this guy, we always, but what we keep missing is how to share that knowledge. You talk about the bagger circuit. It's the hottest thing going right now.
Right.
Daytona Speedway, they getting it. That started in the hood. We weren't running on no alcohol. We were running full baggers, sound systems, with your clothes for the weekend. And if you like LB the Great, you might have been 2 up challenging somebody and giving you 3 bikes in the wiggle, right? Now, we're not even attached to the, I done got loud. I done got like a preacher.
Hey, it's all right, man. Go on. Hey, we're going to pass the plate in a minute.
Oh, shut the door. I need 10 people to give me $100. No. so we got to get to sharing this history and do it unapologetically. And that's why I said what I said in Daytona. The culture is not for sale. We will partner,
man,
but it's not for sale. You know, somebody said, I love your hat, man. When did you start wearing these? when I was 14. My guy who the OG who used to always tease me would say, you on these bikes and now you wearing your little costume jewelry. I showed him a picture when I was 18. I said, man, I've been my boots open. People say your boot game crazy. I wore my boots open because I was about to pass out on one of them 1,100-mile trips and it was 110 degrees. So I was trying to get air. And now everybody, I love your boot game. Thank you.
Right. That was the look, huh? Just leave one zip just because that's what it is.
But here's the thing, C. Ryder. That's the culture. How we take something and we make it beneficial to us. If, again, you haven't been to the Roundup, you haven't been to any of the sets, Myrtle Beach, how folks telling folks how they should and shouldn't play their music, and over a weekend you bringing in $2-3 million. Man, please go somewhere else then.
Right.
You got to go to the proc. You got to get this history. I would love to.
We met.
That's how we met. I love to talk with the sister so I can come teach a history class and just bring some of my artifacts, right? Because, and I know this much. Imagine if I get connected with the cat, say, yeah, I did it this way, and write it down and get to tell this story.
Yeah, definitely. Because not also are you a part of the motorcycle community, you also are an educator.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I check your background out, man. Goldie from One Down say, man, you got to research these people that you're putting on your show. I said, yeah, okay. So I started researching. I said, yeah, my man is also an educator with degrees. So
hey, hold on. Who you and Goldie work for? What y'all doing? What don't be checking?
Yeah, man. You definitely.
Goldie's right, man. Goldie's right. I grew up in Detroit, went to all Detroit schools, went to Cary Elementary in Delray, went to Parkman on the west side, elementary, finished there, went to Drew Middle School, which to this day still look like a juvenile detention center, no windows other than the hallway.
Wow.
Then graduated from McKenzie, and I barely graduated from McKenzie. I remember my last year, I just didn't care, didn't know what I was going to do, and barely graduated. I took my ACT at the time. SAT is the prominent exam. I took the ACT, but me and my guy Norris Gore went to a backyard party. First time I saw AK-47 shooting up the block. Like, Lord, we can't have nothing. And so we go to backyard party. It's $2 to get in, and we ain't even paid. We went behind the garage and jumped the gate, right? Bootleg. Yeah. And so this is Friday night. It's the day before I take my ACT. And right now, if you take the ACT and put your name and one letter all the way through A or all the way through a B, you're going to be guaranteed about a 14. Ain't going to get you in no colleges. Not a one. I got a 12. I ain't remember that 20 years later. But like most kids from the hood that don't have no direction, I was just out there, man. And my guy, one of the best mentors in the game, Desi Jones, lived on Lauder. I lived on Terry, heard us cursing, called me on the porch. Was that you, Randy? I'm like, no, Mr. Jones. What are you going to do with your life? And this is what I told him. I said, man, I got a car, I got a job, and I got a girlfriend. I'm good. That was
right.
That was a royal flush. I don't play cards. I play spades. That's the card. That's our card. We don't play that. But I don't even know what a royal flush is. So I think I had one. And so
he did.
He said, man, go into the military. And I went to the military. I left home, saw that the world was bigger than the block. Went to school for a year. That's not true. I took some classes. I went to HBCU Annex in Detroit and didn't know what I was doing, got good grades and walked away. And went to the service, Florida, then went to Korea and got in some trouble. That's why I don't judge nobody in jail. Nobody.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You do the crime, you got to do the time. But there's a lot of cats in jail that did not do the crime. And I was in Korea and got jammed up on something I didn't do, right? And was like, I'm fighting this. And my mother was pleading with me, don't do that, please. And I was like, no, Ma, I didn't do it. And you got integrity. Just stupid stuff, right? But so I took a plea. And I remember they gave me a suspended bus, held my stripes for 3 months, took some money. I went home and cried. It's like, man. And it was that wake up moment, like you joined to go to school. So I get back to the States. It's time to get out. I re-enlisted. My mother called me stupid. You stupid. And now I'm going to get them like they got me. And started taking classes and used to party in Boston. I was stationed in New England when I came back in a little town called Bedford. And I would pass Harvard Square. And I'm about to show you how long ago I had the brick phone. I'm going past Harvard Square.
Yeah.
And this lady told me you should go to Harvard. And I told her, as God is my witness, look, I'm from Detroit and I'm black. We don't go to Harvard. She said, don't say that. And 3 degrees later from Harvard, it still choked me up. Like, how? I got 12 on my ACT. But, when you got the right people in your corner and people started telling me I was smart. And that's what we're not doing with these young people, especially in this motorcycle game. I just brought a young blood in. He had a handicap on his left side. And he said, man, we're in the same club. He was retiring. He said, man, I want to ride old bikes. I said, come to Detroit. I'll teach you. Man, he came to Detroit. He wanted a bike. I went to South Dakota, picked him up a bike, dropped it off to my guy, Hillbilly Mafia in West Virginia. He won his first checkered last month. I mean, unbelievable. This month, matter of fact, March, because we got the history now. But I keep thinking, how did I get all this paperwork? So I wound up becoming an educator because somebody helped me, and I started working with the young black kids. Didn't make a lot of money. Now, mind you, when you get degrees from Harvard and a doctor from Penn, you're supposed to be set.
Yes, sir.
I didn't care about that. My wife hates when I say that. The Bible tell you, man, the love of money, not money. Money's not evil, but the love of money. So I started saying, how can I make a difference? So I became an educator, did that for 20 plus years. And one day we were hiring people that didn't care about kids. And I told my boss, I worked for Marvin Winans for 21 years, the great gospel singer.
Yeah.
And told him I'm going to quit. He said, what you going to do? I said, I'm going to make motorcycle commercials. I don't even know why I said that. I said, I'm going to make motorcycle commercials, and I'm going to play with motorcycles and travel the world.
And look at you now, Italy, making commercials for Harley. He was even on the wall at the Harley Davidson Museum.
Yeah, man. I was on the wall, and somebody just gave me that picture, 5-foot picture. But here's what's crazy. Harley Davidson came by last week to pick up one of my bikes to put on display for a year. I just shaking my head. That's why you got to be careful what you speak over yourself.
Yes.
And people think when they meet me, man, you are positive. I thought that was all a game. Nah, man, I done seen enough. And you never know what people going through. You saw that little picture I posted where a truck almost took me out the game.
Yeah.
Man, crashed into me. I was in the hills of Pennsylvania. The only thing I was worried about was getting got. I was calling my boy, listen, just got hit. Don't worry about that. I'm pulling up, but I'm in the dark place. Listen. And I wasn't gritted up either. I wasn't gritted up. If y'all know, you know. And so I got in the car. The next morning, I heard that my son-in-law mother had passed. That's why you got to be kind. You don't know what people going through. You know what they're going through, man. So that's why I try to get back. And the best place to get back, I'm gonna tell you now, if you ain't playing with motorcycles, you're only living half your life. Yeah. This sport right here, I ain't never had this type of love in my life.
I see it, man. I see it. I'm like, man, I say you had the Harley Davidson folks down there with you at the damn show in Daytona. I said, look at my man. I watched it from all angles because everybody that I follow, I'm an avid subscriber on YouTube. So I'm watching everybody's channels and I get all of the angles of the show and what's going on, and I'm just watching everything, man. And what stood out the most, man, is when you said the culture is not for sale. You know what I mean? Hold on 1 second.
Let's see, my brother T talking about wings and music. Let's get it.
All right, sorry about that. I'm podcasting and printing shirts at the same time, man.
Hey, look, don't talk about shirts. Look, you saved me on that. I mean, we met and you said, "What can I do for you?" And we got jammed up on this end. My person was busy, and you said, "I got you." Man, you sent them shirts. The quality was off the charts, and I'm like,
man, appreciate it.
Oh, I ain't trying to slow your production down, but I need to know who.
No, you're not slowing it down, man. It was just one of my employees was leaving for the day, man. So I just want to make sure things were straight before he left.
Well, let me give T a shout out because he said wings and music. Let's do it. So here's what I need: some Isaac Hayes, some Parliament, you know. And all of that, and we get down for the get down.
Hey, man, I love some Parliament, man. Man, that's all I really listen to is Parliament, man. Boosie Collins, George Clinton, man. You know, George Clinton. I watched a documentary about George Clinton, and George Clinton gave me some of the best game that he could have ever given anyone, and I took the information, and Snoop Dogg also uses this information, and George Clinton said is that you always have to reinvent yourself. You know, I didn't even know before funk that he was a doo-wop singer, right?
He was doo-wop, man, and was going to be moving into gospel.
Exactly. I'm like, wow.
Look, but here's the kicker with that. Not only reinvent, but you got to tell your story, right? And if we don't do that, if we don't, like when I be telling people, what's the one he did? Never Buy Texas from a Cowboy.
Yeah.
Or Cosmic Slop. You just listen to that and you go, man. Somebody said, when's the next race? I'm gonna get you them dates. The next race is in Hohenwald, Tennessee, on the clay track, and you race clay when it gets at night or in the morning. When that condensation come up, it changes the game. So that's Memorial Day weekend. Then I'm doing something back in Florida at Sons of Speed with Billy Lane. Oh, come on, Ray. Curtis Mayfield, come on. Don't look. Okay, let me talk about music, and let me get a few people upset.
Yeah.
Let me get a few people upset. Y'all influencers, please quit posting the music that defines us in the way we define us onto the general public, because we're giving people access to codes that they might not have access to, right? And I talked to a young cat, and he said, man, you got on me about using the N-word. I said, bro, let me tell you something. And I ain't saying this from being an old head. I'm saying this, y'all giving green lights to people that you're going to get them hurt out here on the game. And we have to be very careful on how we curate ourselves. We have to be. I'm going to say something. I'm a veteran, grew up in Detroit, got two parents that didn't finish high school, but spit the best game to me. I've gotten further in life by deciding I want to be the nice guy, right? But as I saw recently, don't let my patience make you a patient, right? And so don't challenge us old heads because we the nice guys. We just, that stuff is crazy, right? But we got to be careful how we curate our music to the public, because that's all people gonna hear. And we got more, you know. I just had somebody told me something about some march on April the 5th or something. I said, let me tell you something, stand down. This day fight. Sometimes you gotta let people see some choices they made. In this politics, they trying to get us riled up. And that's what music does as well, get us hyped. I mean, when I used to be out there, I listen to the right thing and get hyped. And then all of a sudden, you sitting there, done caught a bid or caught a case for a 30-second moment of hype. Hero put GQ. GQ did a post about Sturgis, right?
Yeah.
And about going to Sturgis and crying. It was powerful for me because I had never told anybody. The first time I went to Sturgis, I cried. But the first time I mentioned Sturgis. The old head told me what I used to tell all you young cats: we ain't lose nothing in Sturgis. So I would say that. I said that for 10 years. I ain't lose nothing in Sturgis. My Sturgis is the Roundup. I had one guy tell me, you need to go to Sturgis. I said, you need to come to Roundup. So I finally, out of a favor to somebody, I will never miss Sturgis again.
Right on.
And I'll be honest, I see 100,000 people before I see one black person.
Mm-hmm.
But most of us, we move like that anyway.
Exactly.
In 99.9999% of the time, I'm flying my cuts unless it says no colors allowed, right? And I'm riding around going, folks keeping this from us, and I'm crying. Riding through the Badlands, riding to Deadwood, riding over to Rapid City, and I mean crying. Like we played, because if you're a rider, you love to go where the good road is anyway.
Right.
So when GQ posted that let hundreds of thousands of people know, man, ride where you want to ride. And Hero said it best. Nobody tell you where to go, just go.
Just go. Yeah, on everything. That's what I did, man. When I went to Galveston to the Lone Star rally, a few people was like, you going to Galveston? That's like the roundup for all the banditos. Yeah. I said, but what that got to do with me though? Yeah. I still went, man. You know, I went and had a good time, man. And I just went where I wanted to go. Even when I got to Galveston, somebody was like, hey, well, you can't go in this area because that's where the banditos are. Don't go over there. You know, but you know, I still went. And even when I passed by, you know what the banditos did when I passed by this house?
Spoke.
Gave me the thumbs up. Some of them gave me the salute, like let me know. They seen my bike, seen them flames coming through. There's like nice bike, right on, good shit. You know what I mean? And just you know, it was a good time, man. But you absolutely right. You go where you want to go.
If you understand the culture, you're gonna respect the culture. Now you know the rule. Most everything on the set jump off after 12 midnight. And it usually got to do with alcohol or a woman.
Man, look.
So people asking me at 11:58, why you leaving? Because I'm going home, sucker.
Yeah, me too.
But if you go to the set, respect the set. I did a show in San Francisco. And I was told, man, you got to check in with this person. No, because I do antique motorcycles. I'm not going there flying my cuts. I'm going there to promote love. But I made sure I reached out. And then I talked to some cats. Hey, man, thanks for giving me safe coverage. I had my boy say, you ain't got to say that. Okay. You go out here in some of these places and don't respect that some folks, that's their space.
Right.
If you come to my house and I say, take your shoes off, you say, but I don't do that. Then you can't come to my house. Mm-hmm. You know, we have really gotten away from loving this as a sport. Ever since there's been motorcycles, black folks have been involved. Henry Johnson got his first dealership in the early 20s. They did not give, William Johnson. They did not give William Johnson that dealership because they were being philanthropic. They gave him the dealership because he was the best wrencher and one of the best hill climbers of the day.
Right.
And so I tell everybody, get out here and become great at what you do. What I want to do, I want to promote this sport. I want to do it through love. I mean, I'm telling you, I ain't never been hugged. I was in the military 8 years. I grew up in Detroit. I got a big family. We went south every year. We still got property in Dodge County, right? Georgia, hour and a half outside of Atlanta. So I know what familial atmospheres feel like. But this motorcycle world, I remember the first time one of the guys kissed me on the cheek. I said, hold on, fam. Whoa.
Yeah.
So, but then I realized, shoot, you just been almost like been made a made man, right?
Yeah, I'm about to say he was welcoming you into the mafia.
Listen. And that's what people be talking about, man. I can't believe you went here and went there. I said, fam, first of all, I believe in the Holy Ghost. So I ain't going nowhere. Spirit don't send me. Now I've been in a place to go. oh, you better get up out of here. And then, but at that sense of respect, and I got cats, man. I ain't fighting no more. I don't do all that. I ain't even shooting. I ain't trying to go to jail. I be
Right.
thinking about who go to jail. I'm like, dang, you can't go to another motorcycle event. You know, I should be thinking, dang, I ain't gonna see that sister no more. I'll be like, I ain't gonna go make it to another motorcycle event. So my
Yeah.
thing is, I just want to promote it through love. And if we start doing that, watch how this game really changes. You know, watch how this. Oh, the Compton legend. Yeah, if y'all see Ryder, you out here doing your thing. They want you to come to Nashville. Look,
And I'll be working. You know, I you know what you said something. I think where a lot of things like that come in is that pushing positivity, man. You know, when I learned to push positivity, man, I had a like it was like an epiphany years ago, man. I was helping this mayor of Compton. Her name was Asia Brown, and she was running for mayor re-election. And positive sister, man. She is pretty much like my mentor, teaching me of positivity and things. And what made me turn to want to do positive things was while I was helping this lady get re-elected for mayor. I had met this girl. It was this girl that was helping her out. And she was a younger girl, younger than I. And she was like, I remember you. And I'm like, oh, okay, where you remember me from? And she said, I used to take all my mom's money and her food stamps because I used to sell her mom drugs. And
wow.
that shit, excuse my language, it hit me. And I felt so low, like I couldn't even look at her. But then she told me it's okay. You know, she told me like, because you didn't even know no better. But I want to thank you for that. And I was like, but why? And she said, because I would have never made it to college and got 2 degrees if I didn't have that fuel from my upbringing. And you was a part of that. And I was just like, it made me feel a little better, but I didn't feel much better. So then that's when I started getting more involved in my community and just helping my community. You know, I said I want to help fix where I tore down. You know what I mean? And that just created positivity. And you know, I'm a work in progress. So sometimes, you know, I might get back to the, you know, the C rider, the negative C rider, and learn certain things, but I just learned to push positivity, like you say, man, because pushing positivity will take you a long way, man. You know, I was watching someone's podcast earlier, and they were just talking about don't join the bike set if you're looking for positivity and community work. You know, I like really disagree with that, but that's like another subject on another time. But
no, let me jump in right there real quick. Do you know the bike community is the largest philanthropic organization probably in the United States? So they were wrong. We do a lot of good. Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, man. So you know, I just try to be the light on the I'm not even gonna say try, because I said I'm not using that in 2025. So I work towards being the light, you know, be a luminance on the bike set of pushing positivity, you know, and you know, man, positivity goes a long way, man. You know, and I watch you.
Come on, let's be honest. Remember what I said earlier? We used to think that was a chump move. You was a punk.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Pop, you know, you were seen as if you look at all my pictures prior to about 10, 15 years ago, there wasn't no smiling. Come on.
Right. Take a picture. You better put that camera away.
Come on now. And so I started changing, right? I'm like, man, this is K Mills, what's happening, fam?
Yeah, that's country. What up, country, man?
Yeah, country got that history. We gonna chat because country got that longevity. I gotta get down and get some artifacts. I got people donating stuff to my museum. We'll talk. But on the positive tip, I thought that was the weak move, man. Because if you in Detroit and you standing at Wyoming and West Chicago, leaving McKenzie, and you talking about, hi, hey, how was school? You know, that's how it went down, right? Everywhere. And so we have to shift that. And I've tell everybody, I've gotten further in life by being positive then these degrees, then my military. I had if you watch Jason Momoa's On the Roam, right?
Yeah.
He did a series last year called On the Roam. And on the first series, I was on that first series where they was talking about vintage bikes. You see me getting on the bike, putting my helmet on, putting on gloves, and you never see me on the bike again. I crashed on the set, went off the mountain, broke 3 ribs. I was jacked. Even now, I don't watch a lot of crash videos on social media because of PTSD, crazy stuff. So 3 weeks ago, my guy crashed. And I'll be honest, when we crash at the track, I go the other way. You start seeing stuff from your crash, right?
Right.
I found out who it was. Man, I ran. They told me I couldn't go. I went past them to see what I could do to help out, right? And they told me later how I helped. I don't even remember. I just remember thinking this is my guy. And the reason being, this guy is in West Virginia, up in the holler, in the hills. He'll do anything for you. Got one of the best shop names, Hillbilly Mafia. I always say I'm his lieutenant because he the Don. That's a name, Hillbilly Mafia.
Yeah. Billy Mafia.
Hillbilly Mafia. But he'll do anything for you. So when they told me what I did for him on the track, half of it I didn't remember. But I just remember how kind he was to help me get 2 of my guys' bikes built to race. He got my guy Blue Bike, Mike's bike ready. He got my guy JB's bike. If we operate like that in this MC world and we spin it over to our families and to these young cats and sisters watching us, man, this game will be changed. It'll be changed. And I tell, and it trips me out. Don't get me wrong. I'll be like, hi. And I'll be like, you chump. And then I'll be
right.
I'll be like, but that's it, and what's crazy, right here, positivity is the way. It is.
Yeah, man.
It's never, thank you. It's never about how you start. It's how you finish, man. A lot of us, man, I told you before, I did 6 hours. That was it.
Right.
He gave me his chain, right? He did 20 years, right?
Wow.
6 of it was in solitary confinement. The federal law says anything past 3 years is cruel and unusual punishment. And if you know anything about the pen, not federal, you got to pick a side. You're going to be Aryan Nation, you're going to be Black Gorilla, you're going to be Muslim preacher, you're going to be owned, right?
Right.
So he telling me early about his life, and I didn't judge him. We came tight at the track because he was the one always blessing the track. So he gave me this necklace last year. He got out of racing. He said, no, I can't do it. He said, I want you to have this. I want you to tell my story. And it was about positivity. And I'm like, I'm crying.
Yeah.
Right? He give me the necklace. I'm crying. I'm telling my boys, I post everything. I'm a 12-year-old girl. I be waking up on social media.
Hey, man, we human, man. We human.
But here's the deal. I don't have a problem with it. I'm crying, but I tell my boys, don't post it. When we get to the hotel room, I say, but at least send me the footage.
Right.
And so I looked at the footage. I'm so hood. I thought I was going, no, I can't take this. No, thank you. Man, I looked at the video. I was like, no, I can't take this. Bro, I wasn't trying to get his back. No, but
right, man. That's a nice piece right there, man. You don't see them often.
But I'm actually making 10 of them. I'm getting when I get my money right, I'm making 10 because all I want to do, as my man said, it ain't how you start, it's how you finish. All I want to do is be that positive example. Yeah, I can fight with the best of them. I had a guy, man, dog me out online. I mean, dog me. I was like, dang, I made it. I mean, dog me.
Yeah.
Told me I was down with the Klan and this and that.
Really? Oh, he was questioning your blackness.
Yeah, he was, man, I was hurt. So I lost it. I went to looking up. Then another guy said, what if something happened to your family? And I went to looking up who this guy was, because you can find anything. And he was only 4 hours from here. And my wife was like, no. I was like, no, he threatening y'all. But then one of my guys said, nah, man, you the good guy.
Yeah.
I'll be there and home for dinner. And I'm like, came to my reality. I called him and said, wait a minute, bro. Over social media, what are we? We not 12.
Right.
But that's what happens when people are doing the positive work. They'll have you taken off your game. You know, they'll have
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I definitely had get taken off my game, and I allowed the enemy to interfere in some things in the past, and it definitely took me off my game. And I'm like, man, I'm supposed to be on this, but I allowed the enemy to pull me in. But now it's like I could certain things go on and be like, nah, it's something up the road. Like when you said you had an accident, man. I said you got blessings coming ahead, and the enemy knew that and try to figure out how to circumvent you away from that, you know. And it's the same thing with me, man. I be like, man, I be seeing certain things be happen. I said it's a blessing on the way somewhere. It's a blessing on the way somewhere. Somebody
tell the truth.
Yeah, man.
Here's the secret. I'm gonna give you the secret. I'm gonna give you 2 secrets tonight. They ain't really secrets because I tell them. One, you got to have some people in your camp that you can call that's gonna keep you grounded. Them the ones that's gonna say, "No, we ain't doing that." We ain't doing that. I called my guy in Cleveland, Maxwell Pooh, scene killer. He building he building rat rods, cars, and some serious motorcycles. He about to get in this race game, right?
Yeah.
I called my guy Blue Bike Mike, who will keep me grounded and say, "No, man, listen, it's this, and this." And then so you got to have some people that you can call that's not going to keep you on the mess. That's not going to say, "Let's ride out right now."
Yeah.
If you don't have somebody who don't say, "We ain't riding out," you ain't got nobody in your camp that's gonna save you.
Nah, for sure, man. That for me, that'll be my woman, and that'll be Big Punchy, man. A lot of times things go on, and I don't know how he be getting the call or whatever, but he'll call and be like, "C Ryder, what you over there doing, man?" I be like, "What's going on, Punch? What?" He be like, man. He after about 10 minutes of conversation with him, is like he didn't talk some sense into me. He'd be like, man, you know. So I'll say, yeah, that'll be my woman first, and second, that'll be Big Punchy. He always be on me. I said he mediated so many situations. I'd be like, damn, why they always got to call you first?
But see, that's like, you know, the 12 got negotiators. We all need a negotiator.
Right.
Have somebody that'll talk us off the ledge. If 5-0 can send in somebody we don't know to talk cats off the ledge, then why won't we put those same people? And that's why I love the MC world. They'll tell me, people will see me racing, and they'll be like, "Why are you in the back?" I said, "I'm leaving the checkered flag to these young guns. I ain't bruh, we hitting the wall with no brakes. No, I got them grandkids and still trying to look half decent." All right, let me give you this last secret. And that's manifesting, right? I was at a cat's crib. It was Keith Ball. I didn't know him as Keith Ball. I just knew him as Bandit. And Bandit was the editor. It was the editor for Easy Rider for 31 years. You gotta look him up. Got that historic folk tale life, right? 81, all the whole 9. He was the real deal. Right, so I'm at his crib. I don't know I'm at his crib. I just rolled with some cats in Sturgis, and we at the crib. And I'm looking, and this guy come out the garage and say, "Hey, Detroit," and I'm like, "Micah." And then people look like, "You know him?" He said, "I race with him." Now Micah is a Hall of Fame Sturgis inductees as well as Keith Ball, right? And then I'm talking to this guy, and I said, "Yeah, man, I wanted to meet Ball. I didn't know." Man, and here's what's crazy. The guy I was talking to wrote a book on manifesting, and here's that last secret. He said, "Do you know what manifesting is?" I said, "Yeah, you think it and you live towards it." Here is the simple proof about manifesting. If you believe in science and you say energy can't be destroyed, a thought is energy.
Yes.
It go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
now, the more science proves science, the more they prove that Bible. They say life and death is in the power of the tongue. So you have to think positively over yourself. When I told Pastor Marvin Wine, a 6-time Grammy Award-winning gospel singer, I was getting out of education to go build bikes, make commercials, and this and that, I was just talking on stage. And here I sit, right? So, man, listen. Let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. Come on now, listen. Oh, there's some folks out here.
Man, yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, you have to find a community. One of my biggest mentors is in Fresno, Jerry Turner. He owns one of the largest wrecking yards in California. Met him 20 plus years ago when I was collecting bikes. And he told me then, if you're not playing with bikes, you're only living half your life. And I think he's 96, 97, been in the game. When I wrecked, he was the first person I went to see. Came in with a cane, broke up. They was dogging me on the set. One of the guys, you can't do this, you can't do that. He said, what were you thinking when you crashed? I said, I wasn't. It was just over. He said, exactly. You either on the bike or you off. There is no in between. He showed me pictures of him racing in the 40s. He said, you'll get back on. I said, well, I got back on the next day. The doctor told me 5 weeks. Don't do that. The doctor said you I got back on, had vertigo. I was so messed up. But it was having that person to go to. And so that's why I tell people, reach out to me. You know, I'm on Instagram, Detroit Antique Motorcycle. If you got a private account, I usually have to wind up meeting you because I'm trying to stay married. So I'll be trying to follow no private accounts. So
you said the Instagram is Detroit
Antique Motorcycles.
Is it underscore in there?
Yes, the underscore between each word. Yeah. And then if you want to just see some of the history, you can go to Traveling Black History Museum.
Motorcycles with an S or E? Just is it plural?
With an S, yeah.
I'm gonna put it up here on the banner, man, so the people can follow you. Is that correct?
That's correct. They need to be following you, especially if y'all need the swag. If you know, I got these. My people made them, but I got to get some made by
Yeah, that's in the making, man. I'm trying to get one of them rings, man. I know what it takes to get it, so I'm working towards what it takes to get that ring, man, because I need me a damn ring.
Well, let me tell people, it's the only show you can come to and almost cuss me out and not catch a hot one or one to the chops. You can ask for a damn shirt, damn socks, damn hat, or a damn poster. And I don't think you're cursing me out. You're just trying to get down for the get down. But yes, we got the damn show. And the way to get the ring is only 3 ways. Have a bike pre-1995 is an invitation. People be calling me, I'm going to bring a bike to my show. You don't just go to other shows and bring a bike. You got to get invited, but it's never been a bike show. I get to talk to the people and I invite the people. They just have to have a bike that qualifies. You have to have a bike pre-1996. Be selected as a damn legend. Those are cats that's been in the game and some street legends, street racers and so forth. Or be a sponsor above a certain dollar amount.
I think that's the category I'm sliding through.
No, man, we gonna get you also. We need your gear too. We're gonna talk, but we also gonna get you an old sled. And I need folks. Listen, let's turn the lights out on Sturgis. I need folks to show up to Sturgis. Sturgis is gonna be my biggest show.
I'm on my way.
Sturgis is the 85th anniversary. The hardest thing about Sturgis is having somewhere to stay. There's a couple campsites. I'm talking to one guy now, and he's saying he may be able to make some provisions for people to camp out. Some of you are frowning right now. You ain't no scooter bum if you ain't slept on the ground.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get my official scooter bum
Yeah,
certification, man. I'm gonna come to Sturgis and check you out, man, because that's actually on the way to Chicago next level. So I said I'm gonna leave a week early before Chicago, and I'm gonna go ahead of the pack, a few days ahead of the pack, because I want to come check you out in Sturgis, man, and come hobnob, shake hands with you, and check it out, man. And hopefully, as soon as I arrive, I bust me some tears too.
I'm telling, and listen, you can be like, I'm gangster, bruh. When you ride up through that mountain and come down and see that lake on the side and know where you've come from, come on, man. People, I had a guy, I was at a spot 2 years ago out in California. We was cutting the food. I mean, we cut a food all the way across country. We were racing at Riverside. We was cutting up. We was cutting. We had a good time.
Yeah.
So a bunch of us got together. And they was doing what they do. And one guy said, man, stop. Detroit might be a narc. I said, first of all, Detroit and narc don't even go together.
Right.
Let's start there. And I said, man, you do you. I mean, I'm strong enough. I ain't got to partake. I said, but nobody asked me why I don't do what you do, why I don't drink, why I don't get doped up. And then I told him about my brother, man, who did everything under the sun.
Right.
You name it, he did it.
Right on.
LSD, acid. I saw my brother drink rum and alcohol because he had such a desire for alcohol.
Yeah, I seen that before too.
Yeah, man. So I just never, I know I'm OCD because I got 20 motorcycles now. And so
yeah,
I know if I like something, I'm gonna really like it. And who don't want to lose their inhibition, right? Who don't want to lose but that thing, I told the guy, I said, man, I don't want to go anywhere that I can't come back from.
Right.
And I've had people say, man, I don't trust you because you don't drink. You don't trust me because you don't know me, fool.
Right.
You don't trust me because you don't know me. I'm the guy that's going to be the only one that's going to be able to get us out of here because I'm going to be the only one with a clear head, And so that's another thing, man. We got to get to know people. And the best way, show up on the set. And don't show up on the set as the big man or the big lady. Just lay in the cut and learn motorcycling.
Come as you are.
Come as you are and learn motorcycling. And what they said at the proc, the ladies ain't got to come there and say, here I am, get themselves away, because there's some sisters out here, man, that's putting it down. They showing folks how to pound, how to support the sport. And my wife ride better than me. I think she got a boyfriend. I ain't mad. I want to meet him so he could teach me.
And they all got boyfriends somewhere, man. They got boyfriends somewhere.
Don't say that. You gonna call back? We gonna be fighting. Steve Ryder said it was true.
Hey, so I was checking out. You had texted me some pictures. I was trying to find it on your page, man. That EV motorcycle you put together.
Yeah, man. I did a 1929 Henderson fully converted electric and a 1929 Indian. And people, man, if you go and look up some of the stuff, you put in Detroit Randy electric Indian, you'll see some of the hate people was riding. I do what I want. I'm at that age. I do what I want. And electric's been around. There was more electric cars on the road pre-1915 than it was gas powered. The first land speed car was called the Torpedo. It was electric.
Yeah.
So people don't know the history, right? The first hybrid was 1896. Started with gas, had 4 electric motors, And so I tell folks, man, yeah. So I did. I'm doing a video tonight. I'm posting my electric 2 bikes racing at Sons of Speed. There's my electric bike right there.
That's it right there.
Yep, I'm at Chopper Flats in Sturgis. That's a 1929 Henderson, all electric. And one guy said, man, do you know what Hendersons go for? I said, yeah, I got 3 of them. And they, but I just was out, yeah, that's me, man.
Wow.
Got 140 batteries in that box right there.
Wow.
And as a young blood from California, we were in Sturgis there.
That's bad, man. That's badass, man. Check you out, man.
That was me and my guy. That's the brother out of California, Brian. But I was at Sugar Bear's place. He got 130 acres out in Sturgis, so I had
Oh wow.
spent a couple weeks with him, getting history, getting game. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
But I do the electric stuff. You know, tell you what, I told Harley Davidson, they thought I was crazy. I said, you want to sell your EVs? Give me one. I'll take it to the hood. Won't nobody be able to beat me in the 8th mile?
Yeah.
Because if you have not ridden the live wire,
Yeah.
you are new to riding, do not go test one, first of all. And if you have ridden, please have on full gear and a full face helmet. Put the bike on sport. Make sure there's nothing in front of you. Hit that throttle and watch.
Take off.
You'll be like Pookie from New Jack City.
So they got that on that one, huh?
He keep calling my name. He keep listen. Ain't nobody. I wear gasoline for cologne, but I love me some EVs. I don't like the Musk, you know. But that's politics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man,
I want me an electric live wire. And if you put in Detroit Randy Freedom for the Soul, you'll see the commercial I did with Jason Momoa and Harley Davidson. Momoa we had some mutual friends. They had reached out and asked would I be willing to be in the ad. And I'm like, Aquaman, Lisa Bonet husband? Heck yeah.
yeah. Man,
I didn't know he was a blue chip star. I'll be honest with you. And they surrounded my house. There was 200 people out there. So the police came by talking about you need crowd control. I said, no, I got my friend from the MC set. So they came out and we told me go across the block.
Right.
That live wire, bro. That live wire. Woo-wee.
That's something, man. You are definitely a living legend, man. I just want to, I'm glad that you was accepted the invitation to come on the Hallcast, man, because you're definitely a living legend, man. I want to give you your flowers, man, because, man, look, you are definitely an inspiration, man. Just ain't too many brothers building no EV Harleys, man.
No, man, we trying to change the game, man. And I said something, and I'm gonna say this. I thank you, but as a griot, you're making sure our story gets told. As I said to you before, the richest place on the planet is the cemetery, meaning we're taking our gifts to the grave. I just finished my children's book, Racing with Pops, and it's about my experience of my granddaughters coming to the track. I got 3 other books in the hopper. But everybody that's listening got a book in them. Everybody.
Yeah. Where can we find them books?
What's that?
Where can we find them books?
Well, I'm trying to be the Ray Charles of publishing.
Okay.
And Ray Charles controlled all his own music, so I'm
self-publishing. And the masters.
And all of them. And so the masters. So my daughter and I own a publishing company called Black Ivy. And it's named Black Ivy because she went to the real big H, Howard. I went to the little H, Harvard. Hence,
my wife went to Howard.
And so I tell everybody, especially now, send your kids to HBCUs, but that's a story for another podcast. But it'll be book just came back from the editor. I was pleased with the comments. Illustrator's going to be wrapping up, and it'll be available. I hope to have it available during the opening of the exhibition at Harley Davidson during the Memorial Day weekend. And the second book would be released at Sturgis. People, please write your book. Please tell your story. Quit letting folks tell our story.
Right.
Please tell.
That's why I'm trying to get the story, man. If you guys know any OGs out there, men and women that's been on the bike set pre-1980 and like the 70s, because they are up in age now, man. And I just want to get their story. I want to get their story, man, because, man, like I said, if we don't know where we've been and how and where we started, we will not know where we going.
No, we won't know. I mean, when that post went out of me and my trash bag and duct tape,
I saw that one too, man. A lot of them real They couldn't understand it. They ridiculed it, but a lot of them they couldn't understand it. Some of them once they got it, they understood it. You know what I mean? I think even GQ was on you for a minute.
And GQ reached back out and he said, "Man, I hope." I said, "No, it's cool. That's your thing, man."
Right.
Listen, if I was worried about it, I wouldn't have put it on. But the biggest compliment, I'm telling you, when Hero said, "Hey, that's how we did it," man.
Hey, you know what's crazy? Maybe that's why GQ always get hit with that rain, because he had a rain suit joke. Because every time I look up GQ riding in the rain.
Let me tell you something. Him and Tiffany Renee
stay in the rain. I love riding in the rain. I ain't gonna lie.
I don't hate it, but
I love it.
Nobody can take from them. They've earned their frog miles, right?
Yeah.
First of all, you can't leave home and think you're gonna be sunny. I used to always say, where can we go where it's just straight? I hated curves.
Yeah.
So terrible.
I remember when I wasn't equipped for the rain. I was with the Rare Breed riding with Baby Slip and Big Punchy and Punchy Son. We going across. It was a nice pack. We had some women with us, and they were riding as well. We were going to Atlanta. We was going to Kings of the South annual, man, and we think we left Little Rock, Arkansas, and we were headed to Memphis, Tennessee, and we had hit some terrible rain. When I said the rain was so terrible, my bike was bogging out. The pack, they kept going because I had one of them super suckers. I was with the Arlenets, the jewelry. I'm trying to look good, but the looking good just don't work with the highway deal. And I didn't have a rain sock on the breather. And the bike just bogging out and bogging out and bogging out. It bogged out so bad, the pack, they just kept going because there were just so many people. And even though it's no man left behind, it was one of the brothers that was in the chase truck. He stayed with me, and the bike was just bogging out. It got so bad, so I pulled over to the side, and I think he missed me pulling over. The chase truck kept going. Now I'm by myself. I'm riding for about 30 minutes. You can't even see in front of you. It was just that bad. I caught up with couple of more riders. It was me, Savvy, and Privilege. I caught up with them. Something told me to get off at this gas station. Got off at the gas station, seen them two in the gas station. I said, "Hey, what y'all doing?" They like, "Man." So I said, "Look, it's not gonna lighten up." And then the way the Doppler was going, it was coming towards us. We was all surrounded. There was no way out of it. So let's just go. So we riding, man. So when we get back on the freeway with a diesel, jumped the barrier across the other side, man, and like just literally missed us by like 5 seconds. And that was like a shocker. Like it had me startled. But then after I got equipped for the rain, I rode to Galveston after that trip, and I rolled in the rain all the way from Galveston to Dallas, just in the run nonstop in the rain. I enjoyed it. I said, "Man, this is what I'm talking about." Bought me a rain sock at the rally. And I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed riding that rain. So I definitely got a lot of what you call them, frog miles.
Frog miles. You ain't getting no frog miles. And once you lean into it, I went and got me, had my man burn me a flash drive. And even while I was down in Daytona, I had my man, he was playing the blues. I said, "You got that flash drive? $20. Got you." Right. And all I kept thinking, how many hours? He was like, "This gonna get you about 5 hours." I said, "That's it?" Okay. Because I calculated now on if I do 1,000 miles, if I do 800,
right.
I will write music. Because once you lean into the ride, like Big Sarge out of Jacksonville doing the I-10 to the end.
Yeah, I-10 to the end.
Bruh, get your music, call Big Sarge. And my mistake was that was my first cross country. I'll be honest. And it was last year during the heat wave, and I didn't know black people could get sunburned because I don't be out there. 3 days in, I stepped in that shower and thought some little man was stabbing me from some horror movie, right?
Yeah.
But you got to do that cross country, and you got to understand it'll make you. We went across Texas. There was 4 of us, and we called ourselves the 445 group, right?
Yeah.
4 of us leaning at 45 degrees, fighting the wind. It's pushing this way, and we running out. So, let's see, Detroit. I'm going to use one.
I use you for one of my trivia questions.
Listen, as long as they don't say, "Does he look 40?" And you used to be at the age where people say, "You what?" Now I say my age, they be like, oh, okay, I can see that. Dang. But yeah, use it, man. Let's do this for each other. Let's keep
man, right on.
Spreading this knowledge, man. And what's crazy, took me a minute to genuinely start seeing brothers and say, I love you. Man, that's what I'm telling you. Of anything in the motorcycle world. You know, in Detroit, it's what up, though? It's the headline, it's all right. And I got on the set and started playing with these old bikes, and guy give you the made man kiss, but I love you, brother, and mean it. Man, if we do that at the roundup, when you go to these places, when you get invited to the Kings of the South, next level, go, people. Don't try to go and be big man on campus. Go and feel that love in ways you will never experience. You know?
Yes, sir.
I mean, when you see it's out there, I mean, I was looking at Traveling Tall and the people coming to see him, and GQ and Tiffany Renee. And yes, we did the boots on the ground dance. Don't judge me. That's the jam. Where your fan at? Anyway, somebody said, I know you're not going to do that. I don't care. I got an ex-wife, a current wife, and more girlfriends than I could count that will confirm, though.
Man, hey, you got to enjoy yourself, man. I think that's one of the biggest problems now. A lot of people pull up, man, and everybody want to be tough, man. Let's just have a good time.
Yeah. Bolo, let's make it happen. Bolo said, let's have lunch one day. Man, here's the thing. I tell people, I used to say this all the time. Y'all should use this. When you arguing with somebody, you ask them, you give them two choices: break bread or break bones. Right? It's the two choices. And we can settle this. We can break bread or we can break bones. All I want to do is break bread. I accept invitations to sit down and eat, and if I got money, I pay for it. And if I don't, I'm a scooter bum. I sleep on the road, in the van, in the truck. I wasn't like that. I was bougie black. I got over there on the picnic. I said, I ain't sleeping on no picnic. He said, you want to be a scooter bum, don't you? What?
Yeah, I'm a scooter bum this summer, man. I'm gonna find me some. I found me a little tent that's gonna fit in my bag and everything. I see, I'm a scooter bumming, man. I'm supposed to do this real motorcycle shit. Excuse my language.
When you go to my Instagram and look at the brother Chris Watts. He used to ride that long chopper across country. I saw him we was in Pittsburgh. And he said, I said, where you stay? He pointed. He said, in that bush over there. No, where you stay? I slept in the bushes. I followed that brother's story, and he wound up getting a damn legend ring. That's the hardest ring to get.
Whoa.
That's the hardest one to get. We're doing a perpetual trophy with all of the legends. You got Willie G on there, Gloria Struck. You got Chris Watts. You got some luminaries that's on there. The list that we about to put on for Sturgis is crazy. But when cats are doing it like that, we don't have to pretend. When people come, my boy came to the track. He said, man, something wrong with your bike? I said, no. He said, you almost got lapped. I said, I know. He said, you want to change the flag? No, man. I'm trying to get a good photo. Did you get one? Did you? Right. We be coming off them bikes so fast out there.
Right now.
Anybody that want to race, we trying to put together 2 more race bikes because I want to introduce people to the sport. But the secret to riding, the secret to riding is not, you never ride your motorcycle, you ride your talent.
Right.
That's why, like you said, when you roll with them cats, don't get in no ride with no MC pack if you ain't never rode in the group.
Right. No, for sure. Yeah, because my first time with a group, I'm like, man, I'm riding. And I'm like, okay, we riding. I'm like, shit, we about 750 miles in. I'm like, when they gonna stop? Like, I'm looking at the hotels, like, what are y'all doing? We keep going. I look out and say, man, we like 1,200 miles in. And they talk about we get to the hotel about 10:30, 11 at night. I'm like, yeah, be ready to kickstands up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm like, but I definitely got broke in by the best, man. Baby Slip and Big Punch and them, man, they definitely broke me in, man.
And if you get that chance, take it. I did a show in San Francisco, Outlaw show, Under the Bridge, right? And folks came check me out, and it got cool. And then 81 said, "Why don't you ride?" I did a luncheon later. They said, "Why don't you ride with us?" And I didn't have my cut, so I was doing my antique show. And I said, "No, I'm good." They said, "No. We see how you move. We know you MC." I said, "No, I'm good." He said, "No, it's an honor." I said, "It'd be an honor to ride with you, but I ain't doing these hills in San Francisco. I'm riding a 1969 with no front brakes." And he's like, "I can't believe you said that." I said, "Man, I done got age by being truthful." Now, don't get me wrong. I wanted that honor, but bro, I know how they get down, and I want to go take out.
Yeah, you gotta be truthful.
And if you ride with a group and you don't know what you're doing, I rode with a cat, man. I think he, I don't know if he retired. I think I could tell the way he moved. He was outlaw. So he had did some homework on me. He said, "I know who you ride with, and I know y'all ride staggered. You getting on my bike." And it was a jockey shift, no front brake. He said, "Because you getting on my bike, we ride wheel to wheel." And we was in the canyons. And I was dumb. "Oh yeah, I'm good." Man, that first 10 minutes, I'm like, I'm gonna die.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy. Like a lot of dudes that ride, man, a lot of them don't be man enough to be like, you know what, man, all right, I'm good. You know, and that's how a lot of guys hurt themselves. You know, we was on the way back. We was on the way back from Pound for Pound a few years back, Memphis, Tennessee, Pound for Pound. Shout out to Hubba Bubba. And we was riding. I was tired as hell because I was actually selling shirts all weekend and I really wasn't resting. I'm picking up boxes and moving around. So everybody else, after they got to Memphis, they chilling, slippers on and just chilling. I'm working now. Now I'm hustling my shirts and getting it in. So I'm really whooped. So man, when we was riding, man, and we got to Tucumcari, New Mexico, and it was, when I say it was raining, it was storming. It was so black, and it was like a scary movie because when you look ahead, you can see the lightning coming real hard, and Baby Slip and Young Guns from Undisputed like, "Yeah, we going." And I looked at that rain. I seen how tired I was. I looked at over there. We was at the I think that was a TA gas station. I looked over at that hotel. And it just looked nice and warm and cozy. I said, "Oh, I'm done. I see y'all later." "Oh, you tapping out? Yeah, I'm gonna tap on right on out because I'm not a fool, and I'm mad enough to say that I'm gonna stop. Because if I want to try to prove something, I probably would have killed myself because I wasn't mad enough to speak up for myself, you know. And a lot of brothers don't, man. A lot of brothers don't. We be riding and you're all over the freeway. I be like, "This fool sleep." Get on the side of him. Wake up. Like, bro, all you got to do is to say, "Hey, you know what, y'all? I'm tired. I'm going to pull off right here and go to sleep. Just catch us in a few hours." So when they left me, right? Well, they didn't leave me. When they kept going, the rain was like headed hard. So this couple pulled in the gas station and said, "Hey, are your buddies going west?" I said, "Yeah." They said, "Oh no, call them back now because they're not gonna make it because the storm was that terrible." So I was like, I tried calling, nobody answered. Called the chase truck, nobody wasn't answering. So long story short was, I woke up the next morning and ended up catching back up to the guys, like, you know, because most of the time when you in a pack, they in the gas station an hour and a half. I was gassing and going, and I eventually caught up to him. I actually had a video on my one of my videos on the YouTube is pounding with Big Punchy and a Rare Breed to Memphis, and it's on there. And man, I learned to be a man, and you know, I said, "Nah, I'm good. I'll see y'all later." But a lot of dudes don't do that.
But that's how we wind up hurt. That's how we wind up dead, and that's how we wind up in jail, by not having that confidence to say, "No, I can't do this," or somebody say, "No, I did a ride, my first sleeping in the desert." Or somebody said sleeping in the bushes is saving money. You right?
Yeah, Punchy just logged in. He said that trip almost killed me.
Look, but here's the problem. If we don't tell the new riders, this is how they get hurt. I had a guy call me, one of the baddest cats in the game. If you don't follow him, name is Danger Dan. I should have knew by his name. He kept saying, we should do something together. I said, Danger, let's get it, baby. He said, how many miles can you knock down on a day? I said, I MC, and then most days we knocking down 800. That's an easy ride. Man, he said, fly in, meet me at my place in Fort Lauderdale. We're going to go to this show in Arizona called The Prowl up in the hills in Bisbee, Arizona. It's a short run, but he took this route, and then he said, we're going to go into Mexico. So I knew I was flying, so I couldn't come gripped up. And if I had people on the ground, I couldn't come gripped up because I was going into Mexico. But right. I had my 2 little knives because I seen the movie Get Out, right? And so this was my first time, man. We rolled and went into Mexico. And I said, I'll be the tail gunner. Sea Rider, I dropped back on them and started directing traffic. They signaled me over and they said, this is the problem you have. You think you in America. I said, yeah, bro. I'm be your tail gunner. He said, man, they ain't caring about no rules out here. You gonna get ran over and ain't nobody gonna do nothing because this is international. Man, I moved up because the best place to ride if you ain't never rode with a group, if you don't have an officer, is second or third. Because if you back in the pack and they pushing at 80, you pushing at 90.
Yeah.
So I moved up to the front. I said, because he said, if the police stop us or the military stop us, keep going. Now that's common to what we know, unless you running.
Right.
Man, it's so much you can learn. That's why I don't listen to people who ain't pounding.
Right, right.
Being out here if you ain't out here.
Yeah, you got to be out here.
Look, when I got out there and I took a trip, I see GQ just said, we stopped to see GQ, right? But we could only do 300 miles and I would fall asleep. Like I thought I had COVID. I mean, just dead tired. Pull over, I had to sleep on the ground in the gas station. Got pictures of that. I'm gonna send them to you later. And I realized I was jet lagged. I had just come back from Italy 4 days prior. I ain't know. But I figured it out. But I pushed on through. But if you don't push through and don't ride in the rain and don't do Tail of the Dragon or Pacific Coast Highway and understand what it means to hold that line when you pull in that turn, man, you just talking.
Yeah. That's some real motorcycle.
Last bike takes a ticket. Dang, I got to get my money up because
hey, that's why I be trying to stay in the middle. I be like, I try to stay in the middle because when you in the back, it seems like you burning more gas. You doing 90 and you know, it's like you doing 100 sometimes and they just cruising at 80. I be like, man, I gotta get in the middle. Watch out.
That was the best thing when I became the VP, right? And if I'm not running with the president, you know, road captain, VP, sergeant at arms, right? And I'm like, we get to the stop, somebody complaining about how fast we going. I'm like, I'm holding it down. And I got an F6B. I rode up to a Harley event on my Gold Wing and people was pissed. Bro, don't nobody tell me what to ride now. And I got everything. I got cows, I got Hondas, I got Harleys, I got Indians. But I tell everybody, ain't nobody getting no Kawasaki tattooed on their arm. So you need a hog.
No, for sure, man. I remember a couple of your brothers, man, they blew past me on them Gold Wings, some soldiers, right? And then I'm riding, and then I'm like thinking I'm gonna try to keep up. And then they some old dudes, so they some older dudes. Then they just start laughing. He waved his finger like bye. And that Gold Wing just took off. I'm like,
bro, we're running 6 cylinders. So when I left I-10 to the end, we're in Jacksonville at the gas station. If you were riders and want to be a rider, do I-10 to the end. Look up Big Sarge on Facebook, Instagram. So he pulled me to the side. It's the F6B. I had my wing my 24 that I just built for Harley, but I got an email said don't ride the show bike. So we put it on a chase truck. I pulled the wing off. He pulled me aside, and Sarge said, "Hey, let me talk to you. I-10 eats up Harleys. Only one that's gonna make it is the wing." I said, "No, we good." Man, all 3 of them was in the shop. That Gold Wing was sitting over there like, "What up, sucker?" But I tell, somebody said they ride a Kawasaki Vulcan. I got a Kawasaki Vulcan in the backyard. Here's the deal. I don't care if it's 2 wheels or 3. Only thing we don't allow in the club is if it got a steering wheel. So I'm sorry, the folks who got what's the big one?
The slingshot.
Yeah, I like them,
Yeah.
but they got a steering wheel, so we can't call them.
Yeah, hey, it's crazy. I went to the Tulsa Black Wall Street, and the slingshots pulled up. And they told me, oh, y'all can't park here. They was mad. They was hot. He said, man, if it ain't two wheels, you can't park here. It was like almost confused. They was mad. They was like, you know what? F this party. And they left. I was like, dang.
Yeah, I'll let them park, but you can't join the club.
And they was taking up a lot of space, man. It was taking up a lot of space.
If you ride with us and you got three wheel, you roll to the back because of the space. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let go. You are because you're pushing the air. You don't get fresh air into the motorcycle. Hold on. Let me take this knife out my back. Dang.
Got to pull that knife all the way out.
But look, so hold on. My 24 is partially water cooled, oil cooled. Harley Davidson, yes, are air cooled. They're now going to liquid.
Yeah.
Honda in 1969, they had a spy find out that Kawasaki was getting ready to come out with a 750. And they came out with the Honda 750. They dropped it a few months before because they found out what Kawasaki was about to do. That's why Honda is considered the first sport motorcycle in full production. 1969 is considered. But what they've done, they just stayed cutting edge. But like I said, ain't nobody getting Suzuki. And if you own Suzuki or Honda, don't come for me. I got those. But we're not getting that tattoo. And the reason being because Harley is an American brand. That's why I want people to look up William Johnson. That's why everybody should look up Atlanta Black Streaks so you can learn about Hal Demon Wade Ware or Bones the Outlaw. We don't know his real name, but we knew he called himself the Outlaw because we were forbid, and we were doing that on Harleys and Indians. I got that 2024 with a foot clutch tank shift because I wanted to be old school. It's going to be at Motor City Harley Davidson for the next month. So people to check it out because we've been doing this forever. And you got guys like Hindu, he out here pounding on the street and he racing cars. There's a video of him. Dang, he said they got seatbelts. Man, I'm about to get off this podcast and go load up. Forget all that stuff I said about being nice. Meet me at Grand and Gratiot Hindu. No.
Right. Yeah, man. Hindu, man, he's definitely a good buddy of mine, man. I actually call him a good friend because I met Hindu, man, about 10 years ago. He was actually boogied down. You know what I mean? Hindu, man, I met him at a Rare Breed in Atlanta, man, about 10, maybe longer than that, maybe 12 years ago. And I needed a haircut, man. I was looking crazy like this and just got to Atlanta and Hindu was cutting hair, man. I was like, hey, you cutting hair? He's like, yeah, man, he cut my hair. We chopping. I'm telling him I'm from Compton. He telling me he from the 313, the Dirty Glove. And man, we've been locked in ever since. And then when Hindu left the boogie down and came over to Rare Breed, we've been really locked in because now we see each other more often, because I move around with the Rare Breed time to time. And man, Hindu, definitely good dude. Then I went to the racetrack with my buddy Savage from Atlanta. We went to a racetrack in South Carolina or North Carolina. And lo and behold, Hindu was out there whooping man. He was whooping it, man.
No, he showed me a video. Got on the bike, sucker raised up. He stayed on it, came down, and was doing that thing. Oh, somebody got a Honda Interceptor with no brake. I almost killed myself. Listen, folks, if we don't tell these stories, and here's what I tell people: don't let your guard down because the guard has kept us safe in these cities and on these sets. But be welcoming. Tell your story, hug somebody, and don't be the toughest guy, and don't go to the club checking out somebody's woman. Cast your eyes to the ground, and you make it out of there, right?
Right.
Nobody's spitting game. Nobody's saying here's how you show up and don't show out. We're gonna need some folks. Somebody cutting your hair, y'all gonna become friends. Henry painted a wheel. I was in a jam. He painted my fender and took care of me. And that bike is gonna be on display because the set came out. But if you peep out the bike, I got all kind of red, black, and green. I got all kind of codes on there because I want people to know we've been doing this. But we also got to be willing to tell our story. People, I mess with people all the time. Man, you want to run? I give you 3 bikes in the wiggle. I can't street race.
Right.
People ain't getting on no bank track either and racing with no brakes and foot shifts. But I can't street race. I be talking trash though. I give you 3 bikes in the wiggle. I'll let you bump it over. What?
Right.
And then I do like I did when I first started doing bank track racing. I got to the track right by myself. I go everywhere, but I don't care. And I saw that track, Sea Rider. I was shook. So I went to try to break something on the bike that nobody could find. I wasn't racing that race. You crazy? On the bank track? And I just saw a guy hit the wall. Man, I sat there and I said this. As God is my witness. I said, you didn't make it out of Detroit by giving up or giving in.
Right.
I've been doing that thing ever since, and so just got my first factory race bike, a WR, Harley Davidson factory in 1948. Cost me, I'm still paying for it. But it's like, if you're going to be in this thing, then you get to tell your story. And choppers, man, you got to ride. The cats who not going to the LA choppers and chopping it up with them.
Yeah.
And talking, choppers was it. And if you ain't never rode a chopper, you never rode.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Mr. Chop, man. I'm trying to get him, trying to set up, line up an interview with Mr. Chop, man. Because that's just legendary, man. I just love history, man. I love that was like one of the classes that I did get good grades in was history because I wanted to know it. Like it just, I just love it. It's like even now, just hearing the stories about the history, I'd be like, man, I wish I could have just been born a few years earlier, to experience that, man. Because I feel that in this day and age of motorcycling, that we will never experience that what the Black motorcycle culture had to go through, man. I would hear stories about brothers and sisters getting shot off their motorcycles just for trying to travel because they didn't want us riding on these Harley Davidsons. So it's like, when I ride my motorcycle, man, I don't take it for granted. And it's like when I was riding home by myself from the Kings of the South, I rode home. And everybody took the 40 home, and I took the 10, the 20 to the 10 or whatever it is, the 10 or the 20, whatever it was. I took that one, and man, I'm going down the highway and I'm just looking in the forest and in the woods, man. And I'm thinking about those who rode these highways before me, man. I'm thinking about, I said, this probably where a slave probably ran across the highway or was running this way for refuge, and just looking at stuff and looking at lakes like, man, just thinking about those who were here before me.
If you don't tell it like that, that's how you gotta tell it. I'm gonna give you a little bit of history. There is there were slave holding pens, but there is no known plantation that had barbed wires or gigantic gates over it, right? None.
Right.
It was all right here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why folks trying to kill the history now. If we get this history down and we understand what it took to ride and be Bessie Stringfield, right? You got cats like Chantel, who is the modern day Bessie Stringfield.
Man, I just said that's crazy. Man, I was looking at her page the other day and I said, man, I said she must have was Bessie in her former lifetime.
And she came to my show where we honored her, right? And I stupidly said, how you getting here? You need somewhere to stay? You can stay with me. Are you riding a trailer? And she almost hung up on me.
You knew better than that.
Yeah, in my best friend Sanford voice, you big dummy. And so when she came to Sturgis, I went to her. She's the first person I said, here go a couple tanks of gas, right? It's here. This is why do you understand if bikers got together, what we could do?
Man, Unity, man. Unity.
If you somebody just said, let me correct that. Somebody said I may mention that no one is sharing the knowledge. No, I'm not saying that. I'm absolutely not saying that we're not sharing the knowledge. I'm saying we're not sharing it on the scale of the knowledge of what we have, right?
Exactly.
Because we're showing up and not saying, not how we literally got to an event, but what it took for us to get to that place in life. That's what I'm saying. So if people heard that, I apologize. I am not saying we're not sharing the knowledge. There are folks out there, GQ, Traveling Tar, C Rider, Hindu. There's folks talking. Hero, I'm telling you, I spoke to
It just
him.
needs to be on a larger scale. If the platform was bigger, I get what you're saying. If the platform was bigger and it was just say it was one central network where the information can be shared. Because if you didn't follow these people or know where to go find the knowledge, you won't get it.
Right. So that's what I'm saying, John B. It's not that the knowledge isn't being shared, because I wouldn't be able to sit here and spit what I'm spitting. So definitely not saying that. But nobody, in a general sense, is connecting me to the West Coast knowledge, to the Mid Coast, to the East Coast, right? Everybody should know who Shut Up and Ride is, right? Because she's going all over the place. Those tariffs help Harley after back. Yeah. So GQ is talking about what we call him the chairman. His name is Willie G. Willie G is a grandson of one of the founders. Most people say Harley Davidson. They don't know that's two families, the Harley and the Davidsons, right? But Willie G was a designer, and he bought the company back from AMA, the bowling company. And now we're at a place where people are dogging Harley. I sent a message directly to the CEO and said, hey, don't end DEI. And then I realized I did a podcast 2 weeks later and said they never had DEI. They saying that for the board, because if you don't believe me, go into any major Harley store. There's no black people on the shirts. And that's cool. We got cats like C Rider. Get him to put the black people on the shirt. So when I say the knowledge, that's how we got to keep telling it. And that's why I said earlier, and I got this much. I only know this much. It's cats. I never talked to Hero before, but to have him comment on something GQ posted and then talk to him 2 weeks ago was mind blowing. So I agree that the knowledge is being told. I guess I'm in a panic and a rush to make sure that more of it is being told on a larger scale. And we're not in competition with each other. We got to make sure folks realize that, there's my daughter say, Dad, you think you famous. I said, I ain't Hollywood famous. I'm hood famous.
Nah, man, you worldwide famous, man. You'd have been to Italy, man, doing this motorcycle stuff, man.
Nah, I did do that. I'm about to sound like a chump. I was crying over there too.
I was crying when I was riding in Japan, man. I'm going all through the tunnels, and I'm crying like, man, I can't believe I'm over here riding Harley Davidsons in Japan, man. I had the dudes from Japan that they never had rode that far in their life, man. I had them dudes ride about 500 miles that day, man. They to this day they be like, thank you, rider son.
So I'm going to Australia in November, right? And,
that's big.
You bring over, if they know how to ride a tank shift or know what a dead man throttle is. A dead man throttle is when you throttle, like if you throttle on your bike now and you take your hand off, it snaps back. A dead man throttle is when you throttle and you take your hand off, it stays engaged. So that's why you'll see me riding, even when it's when it's a snapback, I'm always rolling forward because I ride a lot of dead man throttles. But I'm taking a trip over to Australia, and they got large antique collections and collectors over there because I'm trying to spread the knowledge.
Right.
Look, folks, here's what I'm trying to do in the next, probably can't do it this year. I'm booked up. But next year, I am trying to plan a straight up scooter bum ride where we get together, and it might be 100 miles, it might be 500. And we just find somewhere to camp out. And here's the deal. Clubs are still doing that. This is not new. But I want to do it on a national scale and where it's a ride. It is already happening at the Roundup. If you've never been to the roundup, please do yourself a favor.
Go to the roundup.
I don't call it the bucket list. I try not to curse too much publicly. There's a reason why it's called profanity, because it's profane. But I will tell you this: I don't call it the bucket list. I call it the F list, and you can transfer, and that simply means just do it. You know?
Right.
You know, don't tell me about no bucket list waiting to die. Let's do that. You know, the F list, and so just get out there and do it. And do that thing, and it's gonna beat you up, or you're gonna love it, or you're gonna say, I ain't never doing this again. But
right on.
And if you're in Detroit or around the area, you want to ride a tank shift, hit me up. If you know how to ride, and I tell when you pull up, I teach you how to ride a tank shift in 30 minutes.
Man, I'm coming on the ground. Well, maybe you teach me in Sturgis when I pull up to Sturgis on my way to.
I'm gonna have some sleds there now. I'm gonna be there with folks. We're gonna try to go over and honor Sugar Bear. Now, Sugar Bear, I pulled up to his property on a garbage barge. I think that's what they call baggers. And he said, "Who parked that Honda Civic on my property?" I said, "What?" And I'm looking. And he pointed at my bike. I said, "That's mine. That's a Go-Wing." He says the same thing. It got the same motor. I said, "Dang." You know? So he started, and then as we pulled off, we got in his truck. He said, "And you forgot to roll the windows up." So he started calling me Rolly. So that's my nickname in Sturgis. When you get a name like that from the Chopper King.
Yeah, I'm Sugar Bear, man. Yeah.
He's 85. He's still building front ends. And, you know, people can argue who started, where they came from. At the end of the day, there's a guy that's 85 that's kept part of the culture alive and still rides. And it's only two types of riders in the world. Y'all could send me whatever you want. Give my email or Instagram. And you'll believe me later. There's only two types of riders on the planet. Those that ride motorcycles and those that ride choppers. And if you don't believe me, it's because you never rode a chopper.
Right.
And you can ride one of mine. I got 7 of them. You don't ride choppers, you fight them because they always flopping. But once you ride a chopper, you know, I rode the bike that intimidated. There's only one bike on the planet that intimidated me. And I rode it 2 weeks ago in Florida. The Boss Hoss. Not the Boss, it's not, people call it the Boss Hog. It's the Boss Hoss. It's a V8 in a motorcycle frame.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Ain't for the faint of heart. But I rode it, you know.
Yeah, man. Well, we've been on 2 hours and 6 minutes. World record, 2 hours, the longest podcast. Very interesting podcast, man. Hey, man, we kept viewers on. Hey, this was dope, man. I really appreciate you, man, for coming on. I'm gonna drop your handle one more time so people can follow you up, man, so they can check you out on your page, man, because you definitely doing some good stuff for the culture, man. You know, and as he said before, the culture is not for sale.
Not for sale, man. And look, if y'all don't see me, it's because I had this bike in my living room. My wife was like, "Sucker, I done told you get that bike out of my house. Mama, you don't run nothing." Let me tell you something. I run everything when my wife not home. Everything.
Right on. For sure, man. I appreciate you, Randy, man, for coming through and blessing the show, man. I appreciate you, man. Y'all tap in with Detroit Antique Motorcycles on Instagram, man, and y'all can Google him. Y'all can Google Randy Detroit Hayward, man. Google him and check him out and see what he got going on, man, because ain't too many of us in the Harley-Davidson Museum.
Well, I appreciate you, brother, for real. And I don't say this lightly. Man, there's cats like you all with these podcasts that's making sure we're being connected across the country. So keep doing what you're doing as a modern day griot, and you have an advantage. Not only are you a griot, you're a rider, you're pounding, and you're offering product. People send me stuff all the time, tell me to promote their stuff. I don't know you, and I don't know how to get paid on this yet. It's coming, but your product is on point. I'm telling you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'm at the age where all I got is the truth. So if it wasn't on point, I'd just be like, "Thank you, C. Roddy. great show.
Yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate you, big dog, man. And everybody, man, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, man. We almost to the 10,000 subscribers. When we hit 10,000 subscribers, I'm giving away 250 shirts, man. So y'all help me get to the 10,000, man. I'm giving away 250 free t-shirts. Yeah, all right, man. I appreciate you, big dog.
Appreciate you, brother. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Love you. Talk with you soon.
Love you too, brother.
All right.